He came to me desperate, his body betraying him just days before his wedding. What started as innocent support turned into something charged, intimate, and unforgettable. I didn't plan to cross that line, but the heat between us made it impossible to resist. Please don't forget to subscribe and comment. The soft click of my heels echoed on the polished hardwood as I stepped into the living room, towel drying my hair. The house smelled like fresh coffee and something else, worry. I didn't have to see him to know Jason was already pacing. Again. He'd been doing it for days now, ever since the wedding countdown hit single digits. My son's best friend since they were kids, Jason had practically grown up in my home. And now, with his big day only a week away, he looked like a man unraveling thread by thread. When I walked into the room, he was standing at the window, arms folded tightly across his chest, shirt clinging to him in the heat. "Still can't breathe?" I asked softly. He turned to me, eyes full of conflicted panic, and gave a half-hearted laugh. "Is it that obvious?" I walked over and touched his arm. "You've got that look. Like someone just told you there's a final exam and you never opened the textbook." Jason sighed and sank onto the couch, burying his face in his hands. "I can't do this, Claire. Not just the ceremony. The everything. I love Emily, but the pressure, the expectations. I can't even stand at the altar without feeling like I might faint." I sat beside him, close but not too close, giving him space and comfort all in one breath. "Jason, honey, every man freaks out before their wedding. But you're not most men, are you?" He looked up at me. "What do you mean?" "You're thoughtful, sensitive. You want things to be perfect. But sometimes perfect isn't about performance. It's about presence." Jason looked at me like he was hanging on every word, and it hit me then how different he looked. He wasn't the boy who used to stay over and raid my fridge. He was a grown man, confused, vulnerable, and fighting his own body with nerves. "Okay," I said, folding my arms. "Tell me the truth. What's really worrying you?" He hesitated, eyes darting, and then in a whisper he said it. "I'm scared I won't be able to perform. Not the vows. I mean the night. I tried everything. Keep getting hard, then losing it. I feel broken." His words were coated in shame, but I didn't flinch. Instead, I reached over, brushing a comforting hand over his shoulder. "There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're blocked." Jason frowned. "Blocked?" He nodded. "Your mind's racing and it's shutting down your body. Trust me, I've seen this before. Sometimes you just need a safe space. A place to breathe, to reconnect with yourself." Jason looked at me, puzzled, hopeful. "How?" I leaned in just enough to let him feel the warmth of closeness. "You want to learn confidence, not control. And confidence doesn't come from pretending. It comes from understanding how you feel, and why." His breath hitched slightly. "Claire, you've always been like a second mom to me." I gave him a gentle smile. "That's not what you need right now, is it?" He held my gaze. "No, it's not." The silence between us thickened, intimate but not forbidden, a place where understanding lived. I reached out slowly, brushing a lock of his hair back. "Then let me help. But only if you trust me." Jason's throat bobbed. He nodded. Over the next few days we talked. Not about facts or techniques, but about feelings. What aroused him? What shut him down? We practiced breathwork, sensual visualization, letting go of shame. Sometimes we sat across from each other, not touching but breathing, mirroring. It wasn't clinical. It wasn't motherly. It was something deeper, sacred, but unspoken. One evening, he showed up at my door after his run, shirt soaked in sweat, face flushed. "I think I'm ready," he said, voice trembling. "But I don't want to test this with Emily first. I want to know I can feel everything." I stepped aside and let him in. The light was low, the air heavy. I poured 2 glasses of wine and offered one to him. He took it, hands still slightly shaking. We sat on the couch, knees brushing. "Close your eyes," I whispered. He obeyed. "Now breathe, deep and slow. Let the air touch everything inside you." I watched him relax, watched his chest rise and fall, watched his lips part slightly, mind drifting into surrender. "Imagine warmth," I said, voice low. "Not pressure, just heat. Connection. That's what she'll want. What you both deserve." Jason exhaled slowly, eyes still closed, a faint smile on his lips. "I can feel it." "Where?" His eyes opened slowly, meeting mine. "Everywhere." I leaned closer, fingertips brushing over the pulse on his wrist. "You don't have to do anything. You just have to feel. Let it rise, don't chase it." He shuddered, not from cold but from release. The moment didn't need more. It was already electric, already transformative. That night, Jason left with a different posture. Shoulders back, eyes brighter. And on his wedding day, when he stood at the altar, he looked strong, steady, present. After the ceremony, when everyone was dancing, he pulled me aside. "I was terrified," he whispered. "But I remembered what you said. And last night, Claire, it was beautiful. Everything worked. Everything felt whole." He offered. He nodded. "Thank you for saving me from myself." I touched his cheek softly. "You saved yourself. I just showed you how." He kissed my hand. As he walked back to his bride, I watched him go, not with longing but pride. The kind that comes from helping someone cross a bridge they thought was impossible. I never told anyone what happened during that week. There was no need. It wasn't a scandal. It was a secret garden, a place where shame turned to strength, and where sensuality wasn't something to fear, but something to embrace. I'll never forget that week. Not because of what we did, but because of what it unlocked. And sometimes, even now, when I see him and Emily laughing together, I catch his eye. Just for a moment. And in that moment he tells me, "Thank you." Without a word.